Hello, hello. We're here today to talk about and open some packs for Star Quest, the Regency Wars. This is a collectible card game that came out in the mid-1990s, copyright 1995 by White Buffalo Games, and it did not stick around, did not have staying power. This is Premier Edition, but there was really only the one edition ever produced. There were plans for an expansion set, but it just never really took off. Interestingly enough, mechanically, it was pretty similar to Magic the Gathering in a lot of respects. Attack and defense, resource costs to bring this unit into play. One of the key differences, though, is that all your spaceships, right, other than thematically, one of the differences from a mechanical perspective was that all of your spaceships had some sort of troop capacity. The idea being that in addition to fighting in space, you had to break through and transport your troops to the enemy planet to then attack them and cause damage on their planet. There were 5 different factions: the Cyborgs, the Imperium, the Gorgon Horde, the Saurians, and the Vorpa. Unlike Magic the Gathering, these really pretty much all played the same, and there wasn't really a lot of variation in the play style or even the cards and units and creatures that were available. So a lot of the differences really came down to how you customized your deck, but you were all drawing from a fairly similar card pool. Some people would say that's a good thing. Some people would say that's a bad thing. What I really loved about this was just the artwork. You look at this and it's that late 80s, early 90s kind of classic sci-fi feel to it. Some of the artwork's a little out there, a little rough, but some of it's really cool. But on that note, well, let's get to opening some packs. Okay, here we go. This is a Cyborg Annihilator Battleship. This is one of the heavier units you would field. I don't think I've ever seen anything above a 6/6 in this game. Maybe there's more. I'm sure if I looked on the internet, I could find out. This is a Destroyer 3/4. And you'll see each one of these cards also had like a collector's number too, kind of harkening back to some of those trading cards from the late 80s, early 90s, where you'd have a checklist and you'd have to check them off to see if you had collected them all, really putting the collectible in collectible card games. This is a sustained effect, put it on a targeted ship, and it basically does damage to that ship each turn. But yeah, it essentially like an aura, right? You're playing it on top of another unit. This is a flash effect, not to be confused with an instant or sorcery. These are probably, yeah, this is how they separated the resource cards. Here we have natural resources for each of the 5 factions. From some of the other unit cards. So here's a fighter, some troop capacity. The flash effect blocks all attacking ships for 1 turn. Here's some of the ground forces. And I've always found this kind of funny that, you know, they had all these different descriptions, but thematically, it was really just for flavor, right? This is what really mattered, was your attack and defense. Here's a Gorgon Wasp class fighter. This is a Comet Collision. Equal to half its total defense strength until end of turn. Here we go. We've got battle mantis. It's a scary looking creature. Some conscripts for the Imperials, colonial troopers. I mean, there's slight variations in the different units, right? 2 1s or, 1 2s. Well, that's kind of a neat looking picture. A space dock. Anyone ship may be returned to service as if newly commissioned. Some sort of stellar shockwave branching out from your high-tech looking pyramid. Yeah, for me, the artwork was really what was interesting about this. I've always been a sucker for sci-fi type stuff. I don't know why they package them this way. Oh, here we go. Here's some more technology resources, one for each of the factions. It's an interesting looking factory for the Saurians. Repulsor shield. Adds 2 defense to your toughness strength, or whatever you want to call it. These guys look like they walked off the cast of Judge Dredd. Gorgon Horde, another Wasp class fighter. Magnetic Storm nullifies any special defense capabilities. These guys are scary look. I mean, I know they're 2 2s, but just look at the artwork. I mean, I wouldn't want to run across those in any sort of situation. And a Vorpal Ravager. This art's not really that, but these guys, some scary looking robots. All right, on to pack 3. Ooh, Warhammer. Look at that, an Imperium Dreadnought. And I mean, that doesn't really look like a dreadnought to me. It looks more like a space station, but to each their own. Heavily armed Imperial Dreadnought with a Phalanx Plasma Pulse Cannon Assault Battery. It's a very long-winded weapon. That's how they get you. But 6.6, I mean, that's one of the most powerful units that I've seen in the game. I do wonder if this is more of a rare card. Cyborg Terminator Scouts. He looks more like a pig or an ogre, but he's got a disruptor cannon. Repair ship. Okay, so it's just a generic ship that can help you out with... Okay. Let's do the flip here. Again, we've got our resources. I mean, I guess I see how this is a resource and this is... I don't know, maybe we're... Not sure how we're getting resources from this. Maybe we're harnessing geothermal power from, I don't know. Here we got some crystals and big red ball for the cyborgs. Okay, we've got the Cyborg Nebula. So this is a sustained effect. Blocks any one ship from attacking except cyborg ships. Cyborg ships are unblocked by the Cyborg Nebula. So there were, faction-specific cards in the game, but more to hose or to help one side or the other. They weren't wildly different play styles. Battle Beasts, not to be confused with the little minifigures from the 1980s by the same name. There's a cruiser. This, I love that picture. Some environmental sabotage going on there. Just some great artwork. And then this guy looks like a, well, they're saurians, so I guess it makes sense they look like dinosaurs. And a cyborg desolator class. Actually looks like 3 of them, but I guess they're buddies going out in a group to hunt with a phalanx laser array. Okay, let's keep going through the packs here. One-eyed terrors. These cyborgs are, looks like some serious business. 3-2, okay, so a little better attack than defense. And they have first strike, boy. Okay. Bone grinders. That guy looks like an... So this, okay, so we've had a lot of ground creatures in this pack. Here we've got dinosaurs with missile launchers, bazookas, something of the sort. All right, here's going to be our resources. We've already seen what technology resources look like, so I'm going to set those aside. Crimson Star. It's slightly out of frame. I mean, I'd like to see the rest of the ship over here, but that's all right. Industrial espionage. Destroys opponent's technology. Yeah, there was a lot of, I'll call it resource destruction available too. I don't know if that was a viable strategy in the game or not. I've only played it once or twice, and so I'm not really sure. What are the scourge worms? Well, those are kind of creepy looking. Saurian Fire Serpent class. It's an interesting looking spaceship. Repulsor shield. Sure. And hey, it's those guys from Judge Dredd. Still joking and laughing in the squad break room. All right, last pack. The Screamer, Gorgon Horde Scorpion battleship. That's a 5/5, so it's pretty heavily armored. Not as good as that Imperial Dreadnought that we saw. A Vorpaw Ripper. Okay. Man, oh, there's a Dreadnought right there. Now, see, I mean, that's just as heavily armed as the other Dreadnought was. So there was a lot of parity, a lot of, you know, one side didn't have a real strong, yeah, I mean, here it's giving troops that it's carrying a little boost there, but there wasn't really a strong, oh, this side is better at that, or doing another thing versus a different faction. That's interesting. Kind of almost looks like a Star Trek Ferengi, but not really. He just instantly destroys any 2 of opponent's resource cards. All right. Here's, again, resources we've seen before. And we'll go back to, this is a Wasp class. I mean, it does look kind of waspy. I guess the Gorgons were kind of bug-like, it looks like. A magnetic storm. Boy, I would not want to be caught in that. Oh, here's one of those scary-looking cyborgs. I think we saw this one before. I think we saw that before. And yep, and we saw that one before. So there we have it. You know, really out of all those cards, of course now I won't be able to find it. I think the one that was most exciting was that that Imperial Dreadnought. There it is, the Warhammer for copyright reasons. Has nothing to do with Games Workshop, but yeah. Cool. Well, hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.